In this video, we're going to see how to use typography in Figma. So the very first thing that we're going to do is we're going to add some text using the text tool. And you can also use the keyboard shortcut T. And as you click and you start typing in text or whatever you want really, you're going to see that on the right, there's going to be this section which is all about the typography. So starting from the top, you can see that we have the typeface, and this is going to allow you to browse through all of the typographic families and fonts right here. So you can easily just select them, and based on the font which you selected, you're going to see a series of options. In this case, we're going to use Inter, which is a free Google web font. And as you can see, I also typed in the search to quickly browse through in order to avoid having to scroll infinitely. And right below the font family, which I'm going to close the window, you can see that in this case, we have all of the font weights. So Inter has a lot of different weights to its font family. And I can select, for example, the semi-bold. I'm just going to zoom in so that you can easily see these differences. You can change basically the font weight by doing it like this. Now on the right, you're going to see the size. So if you want to increase the size of this text, we're going to increase the number by a couple of points, and that is going to essentially work its magic. Now for the other option, I'm going to add some text, and this is how it went. And I'm basically going to give it a 2 lines distribution. So this is going to be the option for the line height. So you can easily just increase or decrease the line height by using this option. And here on the right, you can adjust the letter spacing. So in case you want to stretch it out, you can easily do it by increasing the letter spacing percentage. And if you want to maybe create some text which is more narrow and having the letters closer to each other, you can easily just adjust this accordingly. Now, this other option is going to be the paragraph spacing, which I don't have a paragraph, so it's not easy to explain this concept, but actually it's very easy. Just imagine that if you have multiple paragraphs, this is going to dictate the distance between one paragraph and the other. And I'm actually going to just grab a paragraph just to show you a real life example. Okay, so I'm magically back with some paragraphs of the good old Lorem Ipsum text. As you can see, when I adjust the paragraph spacing, it's not going to adjust each and every line height, but it's just going to adjust the distance and the height from one paragraph to the other. Now, let's talk about another really useful tool, which I'm actually going to reduce the amount of text for the sake of explanation. And this is going to be something that you're going to use quite often, and this is the auto width. Now, by default, Figma is basically creating boxes similarly to what you're used to when you're coding on the web, of having divs almost. And if you wanted to basically say to Figma, hey, just stretch the text as much as you can, disregard the default fixed size, just click on auto width, and as you can see, this is going to enable you to have this look which is stretched, but in reality what it's doing, it's essentially taking up all the space that it can in order to display that element. So if I basically stretch it back all the way here, it's going to move back to a fixed size. Then I can go and use the auto width to basically enable it to stretch it. And it might seem like a small thing, but when you're working on a lot of UI screens, like I do, I'm a designer by trade. I've been doing this for over 10 years. there's going to be multiple instances where you just want the text to stretch. So this is definitely something which is very useful, and you might want to keep it in mind. Now, talking about spacing, and we have to discuss the alignment side of things, because by default the text is left aligned, but you can also align it center and right align. So it's pretty straightforward. Most softwares you can do this, so you might already be quite familiar with this. And the very next option is going to be the alignment vertical. So you can align some text to the center or even to the bottom of a delimited area. So based on the rectangle, in this case, that you're limiting the text, you're going to be able to basically adjust this to accommodate the spacing accordingly. Now, on top of that, there's some other type settings which you can access by clicking on these three dots. These are kind of hidden settings. You might not use them as often, but some of these come in really handy. So, for example, there's the justified alignment, which is something that wasn't available here, but it's definitely available in Figma if you access this option right here. You can also change the case to uppercase, lowercase, or title case. And then there's a bunch of different items which we won't necessarily go into much detail in this video, because it would be better to show with some examples of specific UX, UI, use cases. But some of the most common ones are going to be the list style. So if you want to create lists, you can easily do that from here. And you can also change the bullet list to numbered list very easily. There's the list spacing, which enables you to change the gutter between one list item and the other, as well as the paragraph spacing, which again is going to be related to the paragraph. Then there's a bunch of other items which in all sincerity I don't really use all that often, and it's probably going to be overkill for this introductory video, so we're just going to keep it as that. And hope this video was helpful, and I'll see you in the very next one.